Cloud. All right.
Oh,
Welcome to the podcast and everything. My name is Anthony Wren. I'm the host of the Alpha Voyage podcast, also known as the Black Cobra Perspective. And welcome to episode 31. I am here with Miss Taylor. How you pronounce your last name?
it's Cyr. It's a weird one.
I knew it. Okay. Because I thought I was going to butcher that so bad. I
Oh,
was like,
see, you
wait.
had it. You had it.
So I was like, okay, so is it Sear or Sarah? So I was like, oh gosh, let me just shut up on this one. But
You
yeah,
were
how
closer than
you?
most people.
Oh, I was okay.
Oh yeah, I get sir, I get cry a lot. I even spell it cry, even though it's only three letters. Like I still get it wrong. So like you were golden. You were great.
That appreciate that. But how you doing today, though?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I am doing pretty good. Like I said before, just woke up and everything, just trying to go back and forth with work and all that, just making sure everything's going tip top smooth on where I'm at. So nothing really new.
All that good stuff. All that good stuff. You look great for just having woken up. Like when I wake up, I look like a gremlin. So killing it already.
See, here's the thing. You have hair. I got hair too, but like I used to have that Bon Jovi hairstyle back in the day. I don't anymore, but
Oh.
I got so tired of it because I said to myself, I was like, one day, this is gonna be gone. And
You could just
I
wake
was
up
saying,
and go.
yeah, I was like, I don't care if I look like a chocolate walnut. Like, I need this to go. But yeah, thank you for joining me on the podcast because I know we talked about it because from the instance I know you're a huge fan of Neil Ellis and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we met. I was like, of course I was gonna be her for this, which is pretty funny because
Right.
I was talking about Neil about this. I was like, you got a unique fan base. Then I thought about it because like that episode got like what 2.7 views on YouTube, which I'm not tripping about because like I just do this podcast just to do it. I don't do it for the views and all that.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
just
people
it's just
love
that.
him.
Yeah.
They're they're obsessed. And he gives back to his community too. He's very funny. So like that was a good get to have him on. But then like I saw
Yeah.
your profile and I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. I want to follow him.
Yeah.
And now
Appreciate
now we're
that.
talking. So
Yeah, appreciate that. Like I'm because we got a part two schedule in the summer, so I don't know how that one's gonna go.
nice.
So I'm
Oh,
trying to
cool.
I'm trying to get a few more people from the Call of Duty franchise beforehand. If I get Ghost, Maria, Alejandro, anybody, then I'm fine. Because
Yes.
I was trying to get some people from Insomniac too. Because I mean, this is nothing private, but like Yuri Lowenthal from Spider Man. I was trying to talk to
He's
him
so cool.
about his career and all that. Like, because like I'm used to him as Sasuke from Naruto. I'm not used to him as Spider Man. So
Oh.
so I understand the company regulations. I understand how that works. But I was going to talk to him about that more than anything. So we kind of chopped it back and forth on email, and it was pretty nice talking to him every now and then.
Oh,
So
that's so cool.
so you're kind of the first person from Insomniac that I'm talking to on here and everything. So
Oh,
I'd be like,
yay.
okay, cool, cool, cool. Because I was talking to at a con, I was talking to somebody that I think they did a table at for Insomniac promoting the Miles Morales game, and we were just talking every now and then. I told this person about my podcast, and he just thought that was pretty cool and stuff. So it was pretty nice. So and I got 100. I got a lot of hours into the Spider-Man game already, like
Yeah.
122. So
Oh, oh yeah.
yeah,
That was
I've been
beautiful.
I've been playing the Spider-Man game since like it came out and stuff. And then since you're a reporter and stuff like that, has been okay. She reports a lot of things. Cause like when you told me, I was like, okay, it's a lot of things that I can't talk to her about. But keep my mouth shut on, which hurts me to the core. But I
I
gotta
know, I'm
respect that.
so sorry.
Oh no, it's completely fine because I thought that was pretty funny because I was like, that's a pretty funny excerpt to talk to her about.
Right.
But yeah, that kind of brought up my first question. But like, how did how did that come about? Being interviewed for Insomniac because I mean, a writer for Insomniac? Because I know you just applied and stuff like that. Like, how did that go? Like, was it so interesting? Was the process? I know processes like that can be complicated. Sometimes it can't be. But how's that for you?
I mean, it was terrifying because all interviews are terrifying to me.
Hmm.
But like it was really fun because there's a series of interviews like with most places. Like you're not just kind of like talking to one person and they're like, oh, okay, you seem cool. You're talking to like a series of people. And I was hired fully remote because Insomniac is, they do remote and they also have people in office. So I was kind of like on Zoom meetings like this the whole time.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of like talking to heads, which is, not as nerve wracking as being in person, but also still kind of terrifying.
Hmm.
And it was just kind of getting to know everybody and talking through like my design philosophies and talking through my writing philosophies. And they're really just trying to, I think, in a lot of game writing positions or a lot of game design positions in general, they're trying to see how you are going to work with people, because you could be like a really, really good writer or a really good designer, but if you can't work with a team of other people, you're like you're not going to be doing anything. Nobody works in a vacuum in game design, so they're kind of testing you to see like, hey, if you were to go to your designer and be like, I hate this idea,
Hmm.
how would you approach that? And if you're someone who's like, I just tell them what I think and I hate it and I'll kill them, not like that, but you know what I mean, that they probably won't hire you. And so it was just like a series of interviews. I can't remember how many, but I was definitely terrified because I am a huge fan of Insomniac. Like I played the Spider-Man games, I played the Miles games, and
Hmm.
I was just looking at these people like, I respect you so much. I can't believe you're talking to me. Like I still feel that way. Like even though I'm here now, I'm just like, you're all so cool. But yeah, it was really fun though. It was like a good experience.
And so you've been a writer for about a year now, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's like, God, math is hard. I want to say like 9 months, 9, 10 months,
10 months. Okay, cool, cool,
yeah,
cool. That makes sense.
year-ish.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's unique because I expect her my process with Jesus Christ. This was 8 years ago, so I was still a teen. So
The baby.
my process with because like I'm 26 now, about to turn 27. Like my process with Blood Mascade for Square Enix was kind of like the same thing because you kind of just help out. Like I was helping out with stuff that a kid should not be helping out with. I was like, as long as I can get the experience, and that's fine because the main thing I wanted to talk about because Square Enix is responsible for a bunch of good games, and Kingdom Hearts is one of those games which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
So I was mainly gonna be like, okay, okay, okay. I don't care about work. I don't care about work. And one Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out. So at the
Right.
time, luckily, I was told a bunch of things and stuff like that that till this day I don't think I'm supposed to share. But the game's already out. But it's just like it was so long ago, and then knowing that the success that Blood Masquerade had, and it was a mobile game. Don't get me wrong, I was hurt when they removed it from the App Store, but end of the era, like it lasted 7 years. I got nothing to
It's a
complain
long
about.
time,
Yeah, it
especially for a
was.
mobile game.
Yeah, I said that. Like it lasted a long time, made a lot of money. So I was just like, I ain't complaining. So I was like, y'all make a second one, or if y'all working on another Kingdom Hearts game, let me know because I will be blasting you guys up, which I have been doing for the last few months. Now, like
Hell
not
yeah.
like that, but just be like checking like on everybody, see how they doing and everything. Because if I remember correctly, a couple of people I worked with before, I don't remember their names. I think somebody told me they're working for, Insomniac now because like it's not gonna help because I don't remember their names. But
They're
so
probably
if I
cool.
remember that, yeah. But they're working there now. And when they told me that, I just messaged them like angry face emojis because I'm kind of just sad about that. be like, can you get a brother in the door? Cause I think I remember I said this to I forgot his name, but I gotta look the email, but like he's such a nice guy. And I was telling him, I was like, well, I don't care if I have to be brought in as a brand ambassador. Like working for Insomniac is one of my dream jobs for real. So I was
Oh,
telling him that
that's awesome.
I forgot his name, but it will it will come to me and everything as this interview goes on. But
It'll happen.
when it comes to that, like how did that, career choice you made kind of change things up for you career wise in general? Because I know it was like a wake up call when when you got hired by Insomnia. Because I know it was an extreme, wake up call, be like, wow, I'm now working for this company now. Like how did that go?
There's a lot of imposter syndrome, definitely,
Yeah,
I would
I'm
say,
still listening.
because oh, you're good. I think there's still imposter syndrome, but I think you just kind of like, you kind of have to fake it until you make it,
Hmm.
which I think you do with anything, but just kind of have to pretend that like, I go into it being like, all right, I'm here. I must be here for like some reason, so
Hmm.
I can't like psych myself out too hard. It does feel
Yeah.
like pretty surreal sometimes. It definitely felt that way much more at the beginning too, and I would just like get in meetings and I would like see people and I'm like, oh, like I don't know how to like put my face. I don't know how to do things, but I really think it's just kind of like, uh, I don't know, yeah, just like hyping yourself up in a way. Um,
Hmm.
until you feel confident enough and you've done things that have proven your worth and like shown people that you have metal,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I know that type of, aspect and thing is not easy, especially coming from, somebody with design experience and gaming experience themselves. Like, it's not an easy category type of thing to go into, which is understandable. And I consider like certain game designs and everything like just hard and challenging and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very minuscule when it comes to just working other jobs in general. So I
Mm.
think it's a good challenge to learn through and everything. Like this type of career is not for everybody, which is understandable. Like it's for everyone. Um it's not for people that just want to get their foot in the door just because Insomniac creates Spider-Man games and upcoming new stuff that they got coming out. Like I wouldn't want to have somebody be in a career just for that type of thing. Like of course they can be hyped up or whatever, but like you gotta figure out what you can bring to the table as well because I know they don't want people just in there just to be in there, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. So I,
definitely.
I've met like my fair share of people like that and everything. So I'm just like, okay, it could be a good wake up call for it, just to learn everything, learn something new, and you know, test the new waters of a new company. I've been familiar with Insomniac for years since Ratchet and Clank, so I've been familiar with them for a while. So it's kind of like a an old friend coming back for some reason when
Oh,
um because when I heard back in was it 2016 that Insomniac was making the Spider-Man game, I was like, oh, okay.
like hello, I remember you.
I was
What are
like,
you doing
okay.
here?
I was like, okay, let me see how this goes. And then if it goes well, then I might play the game because at first I wasn't excited for it. Like this is not me trash talking here, but like I was not
No,
excited
no,
for it
it's
because it was like a Spider-Man game. Like it was just coming off a
you always have
bunch
to
of
temper
stuff.
your
So
expectations, especially with
yeah, so
superhero games, I feel like.
yeah. And then the more I saw gameplay, I was like, okay, I'm hyped up for it. And then the funny thing, I never played. It's a funny thing. I never played. I've seen others gameplay, but I never played it. played Insomniac Spider-Man until I got the Steam Deck recently.
No
So
way, really?
yeah,
Oh, you
so
played it
this
on the
year,
Steam Deck.
yeah, so like
Oh,
they got this like a PC port type of thing. So I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I don't have a PlayStation anymore yet, but
Oh.
I can play both games for the meantime just to, get caught up before Spider-Man 2 comes out. So I was like, okay, I can get caught up in everything and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So just to make sure, because it ain't coming out for this bad boy, because this the Xbox Series S right here. It's not coming out for that no time soon. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what, might as well just get that, just call it a day. But when I
Oh, that's
tried it,
perfect.
yeah, but when I tried it, I was like, okay, cool, I can dig that and everything, and I kind of got used to it, kind of enjoyed it and everything. The DLCs that came about it, then Miles came out on Steam
Mm.
around the exact same time where I got the Steam Deck. So I was like, okay, this be the first game I tried, which it was. So Miles was actually the first Spider-Man game I played first. Then I started
Oh,
doing
nice.
then I started playing the remastered Spider-Man game. I was like, okay, yeah, I should have started with this first, but yeah, it's okay.
I always play games out of order for some reason. Like I always am like late to the party and I'm like, I'm gonna play the second one. I did that with Mass Effect for some reason, and I think I did that with
Oh,
Dragon Age 2. Like I just always am I don't know why. I've never played like a series like straight through the correct intended way.
no,
Maybe we're onto something.
that is true, because like Mass Effect was one of those games where I just be like, okay, maybe we can work like this. Maybe it can work, and people can have fun left and right just to see how this goes. Because like the first Mass Effect I tried was Mass Effect 3, and I was like, oh crap, well,
Oh.
how did I start from 3 to 2 to 1? And
Oh yeah,
then
you really went.
yeah, and it worked out like that. And then like with Kingdom Hearts, I never messed that up, because that type of series I've been playing since 2002, and
Oh wow.
then I never messed that up, surprisingly, for some reason, and yet the story is confusing as it is.
Fair.
When um when I played Spider-Man, I was like, bravo, story is not confusing for once.
Oh good, yay.
Yeah, so it
That's
was,
always the goal, really.
yeah, yeah, I was saying that because I think I talked to Neil about this if I remember, because I was saying like the only thing that's worse about like playing a game is like a story that doesn't make sense. So I was saying I'm very glad that Modern Warfare 2 actually this is a remake, but I was saying it was like I'm glad that Modern Warfare 2 had a story that, actually not confusing. So
Yeah, that was honestly the first like Call of Duty game I'd ever played. Like I was not a Call of Duty girl for whatever reason. Like I
oh yeah,
just wasn't interested. And that was like the first one and I was like, "Oh, this story is like engaging and I'm like hooked on these characters and I'm like
so
having
so
a good time
so
I didn't know."
so you was brought into the game late, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, did you play the first remake of Modern Warfare after you played Modern Warfare 2 to understand how the characters operated, pretty much?
No, but then I started doing like a lot of research because of course when I like hyperfixate on something, I'm like, well now I need to know everything about this. So I was like
Uh huh.
researching like the Ghost comics and like Soap's journals and all that stuff. And so
Hmm.
I haven't played the old game, but I kind of want to. But now what's this about a story that doesn't make sense? Tell me more.
I mean, like I said, this is no disrespect to like Call
Oh
of
no,
Duty
no.
and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it was like a lot of instances where certain games and everything wouldn't make sense, because like you got Call of Duty, the Black Ops series, and all that. Up until Black Ops 3 to 4, that's when stories didn't make sense for me, because Black Ops 3 was a prequel to one of the other games. I was like, okay, prequel to a previous game. I guess that makes sense, because Red Dead Redemption did that, and I was like, okay,
Oh yeah.
they did a much better job doing that than they did. So I was like, okay, I need to stop playing games where certain things doesn't get confused with others, and then
Yeah.
like as more things got confused, I'm just like, okay, yeah, no, this is not working out for me the slightest. And then
That's so hard.
when I yeah, then when I started playing the remake for Modern Warfare, I was like, okay, no confusing ethnics this time, and just like in the previous Modern Warfare, because the previous Modern Warfare was it was crazy. It was like that story was crazy when it came to like explaining the war perspective and everything too. And that one was a little bit more violent too. So yeah. So with that, because I noticed you notice in the ending, because spoilers here. So if you notice in the ending, they get to a plane part at the end.
Yeah.
I was letting you know now. If they remake the mission that I think they're gonna do, you better have a stomach for a while because
Ooh.
you have to look at you have to prepare yourself before they make Modern Warfare 3
Oh
because
no.
if they remake that mission, they're gonna get a lot of heat for that because this mission made the original Modern Warfare 2 unredeemable to play. So
Whoa.
basically it was that bad. So
Oh dang. And that's like
you're
dated too at this point. So
yeah.
like,
So you
well,
because of course you heard the villain you heard the villain being Makarov because we're familiar
mm.
with him because I've been dealing with him since the original Modern Warfare. So I was like, like this is my podcast. I can cuss. I was like, oh shoot, here we go. Here we go again. Because I was like, it was an old friend that was being renewed. Because
Yeah.
Makarov is one of the most violent characters out of that whole franchise. So,
Oh
because I was talking
dang.
to Neil, I was like, I hope something gets serious because if he don't, then it's gonna be
Oh
the lady's gonna be crying next game. So
Protect soap at all costs.
but I think this is the version where nobody's gonna get killed off. I could be wrong, but I hope so because in the original series, Soap didn't get killed off till Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm praying he doesn't do this one.
Oh
It's
my
supposed to
god.
be 4 games, so I hope we're good. Ghost, he survived this Modern Warfare, but he actually got killed in the original Modern Warfare game.
No.
So, but Ghost wasn't as nonchalant and as more wary of his surroundings. Like I talked to Neil in the interview, he's more aware and calm and stuff like that in this game than the previous one. Like the previous one, he was all over the place and everything. Like it wasn't an actual story behind him. But now, since the comics are out in this game, kind of explain things more. I was like, okay, I can see this because if because I know season 3 just came out yesterday, which I haven't tried yet
Mm.
for Modern Warfare 2. Valeria's out of jail. So
Ooh.
I was
I
like,
love
oh,
her.
Jesus Christ. I love her too. Like I'm trying to get Maria on the podcast one day. I'm working on that. Working on
She's so cool. She's
that.
incredibly talented. Oh my god.
Yeah, she is. She is. Like I'm trying to get her on the podcast one day. Like I was saying about stuff. I was like, look, I don't care if I get Hassan on here. I gotta get somebody else on there. Because like with
Yeah.
Soap to agree with me for part 2, that was fanboyish enough. But it's just like I got to get somebody else because
Yeah.
talking to Neil, he was asking me, okay, what's my take on the podcast and everything? Because the main reason I interview people is just like just to interview for fun, just to talk and everything, and just in case people want to gain influence from certain people that I have on my podcast and they want to do the same thing they do. So, you never know. So that's kind of like the
Yeah.
main reasons and everything. So we'll see how that goes. But that kind of that kind of just brought up my third question because I knew I was going to slide right into it. But like, what kind of like helped you? Like, what kind of like what what influence like did you gain to like kind of like do design and writing? Because I know you had to love something in order to do what you do. So like, what was kind of like an influence for you?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like I've always been a writer. Like ever
Hmm.
since I was little, I like wanted to write stories. I was writing, like really terrible fan fictions as a youth. Like they're still out there somewhere. But
Yeah,
just like always, always, always writing. I think when I was like younger, I was like, I want to be an author. I want to be, something that has to do with that, or like I want to write movies. And then
yeah,
I got really into games, and I think like Mass Effect was one of the first ones that I was like, oh, there's like a really good story here, and someone has to be writing that story. And I think like I
yeah,
just like put the dots together, and I was like, okay, so someone definitely wrote that story, and that person could be me. How do I
yeah.
how do I get there? And I kind of just like decided I had just graduated college, and I had a psych degree because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like kind of in an in-between place, and I was like, I could go for like my master's in psych and do something related to that because I like humans. I think they're cool. But what I really want to do is write for games. And so I kind of just did some research and found out how to like I got into a program at NYU by the skin of my teeth. I was very lucky
Hmm.
to do so, and it's kind of all been luck and me screaming from there. But but really it was just like having like the like passion for writing, because that is like all I have ever wanted to do, or all I have ever done, and then just kind of like switching that over to being a gamer. It was like
Yeah,
I love stories, and games tell such good stories. And I feel like it's underrated. A lot of people who aren't like in the video game sphere do not realize how deeply stories in games can affect people.
that is very true. That is very true. I mean, I've trust me, I've done my fair share of crime when it came to certain video games. I've done that numerous times, and
What's
I always think,
your most recent cry?
um, I mean, I mean, beating the Spider-Man games, of course, that was emotional, but it was
Yeah.
really emotional to me to the point where it was like more of a cry and everything because another Spider-Man game was not gonna get a Spider-Man theme type of thing was not gonna get me because the last thing that got me was Tom Holland crying when Tony Stark was down at the end of Avengers Endgame.
Oh my
That
God.
got me really bad.
That was
I was
so
like,
uncalled for.
yeah, it was. I was like, you gonna kill him off? Like, I was sitting in the theaters, right? When that whole thing was happening. And then when I seen that, I saw him, I was like, oh God, don't do this to me. And then like you got Rhodey coming up first, and then you got Tom
Oh,
Holland talking about, oh, we won. I was like, Tom, you are a freaking a-hole, man.
Thomas, don't you do it. Don't
I
you
was like,
do it.
why'd you have to do this to me? I was like, Tom, you are such an a-hole. Like, why'd you have to do this to me?
He's a
Like,
monster. They're all monsters, honestly, for that movie, for doing it to us. Like,
I know. I said the exact same thing. I was like, you are such an a-hole, Thomas. Like, you do that to me. You didn't you did not at all. Like, I was
no.
still enjoying the movie. And then the next thing I know, I'm bawling my eyes out next to a dude that didn't want to be bothered, but he understood why I was crying. I was like, I'm sorry, man.
I'm
And
going
then,
through something right now.
yeah, yeah, like that got me. I was just like, wow. Like, like for real though? Like, y'all gonna do this to me like that? Like, no, like that was the last superhero thing. See what happens, but yeah,
Yeah,
I've
that'd be
been
cool.
I've been checking on this freaking timing for like the last hour or so.
You're
But
good.
yeah, I think it's about past my time to sleep. But yeah,
All right,
I
yes. We need
do.
to get you back in bed.
Oh yes, we do. But like, I do appreciate you joining me and everything for episode 31 of the podcast. We'll discuss part two
Yeah,
in the
thank you so
future.
much for
Like,
having me.
no problem, no problem. Don't get me wrong.
Definitely.
Wait, it's not gonna be that long. We'll wait for part two. But yeah, to everybody that watched this episode, this is Miss Taylor Cyr. Cyr. Did I pronounce it right?
You did. You nailed it.
Okay. Because I keep thinking I'm gonna butcher the mess out of your name. Like
No, killed it.
we became good friends so quickly. I was like, okay, is that just her Instagram thing or that's her actual last name?
No.
Because like when I met you, I was like, okay, I'm gonna butcher the mess out of her name. Let me not mention this to her. So yeah. So
No,
thank
you
you.
were right on it.
Okay,
Perfect.
great. So thank you, Miss Taylor Cyr, for joining me. Thank you for everybody that's been with the podcast for so long. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Give me